and then I'm continuing my talk with the language processing, natural language processing. Fine. So I'll just enter into the presentation. So what we're going to see in the presentation is actually, I'll start with what is that how the DL is, how the deep learning is related with the AI and then machine learning. Then slowly you'll see that the why we are going for that is very important. Why we are going for deep learning and what makes the difference with that machine learning model. And we'll see the some of the applications we'll discuss, and then we'll conclude with the question answering session. Okay. So before that, actually, I want should be a little bit interactive. So if I ask any questions, and then if you have any questions, feel free to stop. And then if you are not hearing me properly, feel free to stop, and then I'll continue. Okay. Fine. So this is the first slide I want to talk. So I'm talking about, as I said, the first is to saying the relationship between AI and ML and DL. So I hope that you have today, I think experts covered you and then introduced you what is machine learning. Fine. So before going to this slide, so I have a few questions. The first question is, so why we are doing machine learning? Why we want that domain, machine learning? Why we need to learn, make a machine to learn? Participants?
Yes, participants can respond.
Yeah. We'll make a interactive session. So it's afternoon session, right? It'll be otherwise it will be a monotonous, and then people will get sleep. Okay.
Some answer is there.
Yeah, more accurate. Yes,
Manikandan
Manikandan says about more accurate. What you want for automation? Yeah, that's I can consider that go automation. So that's a one point. So we need to go automation faster. Okay. So faster. So are you sure that the machine learning algorithms make few things faster? Okay. Say that we can relate that automation with faster. Fine. Any other answers?
Sir, excuse me, some voice break is there, sir. Can you please?
Okay, adjust? 1 second. I'll adjust my microphone. Is it fine now?
Oh, now okay.
Yeah. Is it fine now?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, great. So, model-based analysis, classify and to get clusters. So, is it we cannot use any other algorithm to classify, or we don't have any other domain to help us in our clustering? We don't have any domain, science or other allied areas to do the automation, to do the things faster or accurate. Provide solution to not adaptive. So what is mean by complex problem here? Professor Babu said that a complex problem. What do you mean by complex problems? Any answers? Okay, so do it efficiently, effectively, and quick. Okay, that is why we are going for machine learning. Okay, more analysis. Okay. So I'm receiving the answers. Most of the answers are right answers only. So you can see here that these are the few reasons. Large volume of data, maybe Sasikala is a large volume. She mentioned that maybe want to say about the data. Okay. So I'll come back to the slides. So the answer you want to say in terms of the why we need machine learning. So what are the other allied areas in the machine learning? That was the question. Fine. That question, the things why the machine learning. So when Babu sir said that about that complex problems, so how can we say that certain things are complex? Suppose if you are taking some subject, when you are having a subject allocation, some subject people may feel that yeah, this is a complex subject to take. So what makes the subject complex? Is it making you to understand, or it's making it's teaching the particular part? or I can say that to discuss or describe a certain thing, certain concept in this particular subject may be complex. Same thing we are saying here in the machine learning also. Simple words about the simple word about the complex, certain things you cannot describe. Certain things you cannot describe. I'm not seeing the chat box. If you have any specific thing to say or oppose my point or something, please feel free to unmute yourself and then tell. Okay, because when I'm presenting with the full screen, I'm not seeing the chat box here. Okay, so what I mean to say is actually the machine learning, certain things you cannot describe. You know how to do it, but you cannot describe. So I'll come to the example why we want the machine learning, because I'll spend some time on the brush upping the concept of machine learning. Then we will see. Then immediately we'll start with the deep learning, because don't think that machine learning or deep learning are completely different. Nowhere it's different. All machine learning basic things, say, starts from the optimization, linear algebra, everything is common to the deep learning also. So once you understand that machine learning, the deep learning is very just a one step. If you move forward, you'll enter into the deep learning. Only thing is, you should know that difference that we can apply deep learning, and then there are some specific information or specific parameters or specific mechanisms to make a deep learning, use the deep learning in a better way. That you need to consider. That's it. Okay. So I'll come to that point and make that one line little clearer in my upcoming slides. So certain things you cannot describe. So where you want the help of machine learning to do that, I'll come to that point. Okay. Before, I'll just stick on to this one about that R&D table of artificial intelligence. As you people are aware that the current buzzword is intelligence. Why that artificial intelligence is popular? That's my next question. Okay. So I have to go back and I'll complete this slide. Then you answer it and we'll have it. First thing is, AI is not the new area. Usually, whenever in the technology, say for example, the IoT or the cybersecurity relevant areas, allied areas, if you take, these areas are nowhere related earlier. Suddenly it's boomed and then it comes a new place, and then it's maybe next 5 years it may rule the world. After 5 years the field will come. Like now itself people started quantum computing, so like that. The technology things, blockchain kind of things are moving fine, but not a new term. If you take that quantum computing or a blockchain, AI is not a new term. When the term AI is on, see this timetable, 1947, the famous mathematician Alan Turing, he introduced that term AI 1947. See that 46 is the year where the world's first computer is invented. Within 1 year, people coined the term AI. But now we are telling that AI is the buzzword now in academia as well as the industry, and everywhere, all the scientific organizations, everywhere, people moving towards AI. Okay, that's the first thing. So AI, as I said, that AI is not a new term. So initially, when Turing proposed the AI, people thought that AI can solve all computer problems, all the real-time problems. Initially, they started with the computer science, then slowly they understood that we can apply this AI to all real-world problems, error domain. That's the initial thing what they understood, and then they started applying that AI also. They have received interesting results with the initial models. Initial AI models are based on knowledge-based systems and then reasoning-based systems. After some time here, in between the 50s and 60s, after some time, the AI is not improving much. AI is for certain things performing well, certain problems not performing, because real world problems when you are applying. So you need to continuously update the system and a lot of problems. Then the jaws of AI. It means that the of AI goes down. When he coined the term AI, when people thought that solved all the problems in AI, it's called the first AI boom. But after 60s, drastically it's going down. Till 80s, I can say that people are not applying much concepts, much AI concepts to their domain. Once again, give me a minute. I'll just close my windows and come one second. Okay, hello. I think is it clear now?
Sir, continue.
Disturbance from my audio?
Yeah, audio disturbance is there. Some breakage is there. Continue, sir. Continue.
Okay. No, I saw myself to close my window.
Yeah, it's better.
Before that, have you faced any problem?
Morning session was good. Second session
No,
on
before that, I'm saying my talk itself. I'm asking.
Some disturbance, some not disturbance.
Is it clear? Yeah, disturbance was there.
Voice breaking.
Okay. If anything is, just let me know. Okay, immediately.
Yes.
Fine. So this after that, after the boom of AI, so in 1979, so as I said, after some point, understand the drawbacks of the initial AI model, and not at all model, so the popularity goes down. But in 1979, a famous person, Fukuyama, is with the concept of neural networks. Neural networks comes to the picture in the 80s. So after that, we can call it as a second boom of AI. So when the neural networks comes to the picture, again the AI started. We call it as people call it as a AI second boom. So most of the problems they started applying neural networks and then are stable for long lasting for years. After some time, again people found the drawbacks of neural networks, and again it started. It's again the AI concept, the domain of AI goes down. But now you see that there is a node down now we are in the third or fourth boom of AI, where the complete change happened from one paper published in 2006 by a famous person, Hinton. So he published a paper. He's from the University of Toronto. He published a paper regarding the deep neural networks. So that paper changed the entire world to turn towards the term deep learning. Because of that deep learning, again people started coining the term AI. Because after deep learning only AI comes here in the third boom. So we are calling the third boom is a machine learning and then deep learning boom. In between this 80s and 2006, so even though the neural network was popular, if I hope a few people may remember, there is an interesting model, classification model, machine learning model, supportive machine is there. So it comes in the picture, and it comes into the it introduced in 1990 by a famous person, mathematician Rapin. So they addressed the problem of neural networks, and then the group of algorithms, including SVM, are called kernel methods. They have come up with the solutions, and then they have given the solution in the earlier neural network models. they resolve the problems in the neural network models. So that is a in between happen kernel methods. But if you closely see that after 2000, so where it applied in most of the model, still it can say that SVM is a baseline system or the state of art system for a few earlier tasks. Okay. After that, only because of the 2006, the paper, that again the neural network started popular. Earlier neural network was not that much popular before 2005. So I can say that because of that SVM, once SVM started coming, people started applying only the kernel methods. But after that 2006, then I can say that the deep neural networks comes to the picture. Again, people move models and everything. So that's a third boom or fourth boom of a year wise in that term deep learning comes out of the research on the development. When we're saying the relationship between that deep learning and machine learning, AI is a superset. Of machine learning is deep learning. So you can see here from that so AI is analyzing all aspects. In that, the small model is learning. In that, machine learning is again the machine learning is the deals models as well as the operation. But from deep learning, there are machine learning have its own mechanism, its own techniques. So that's the thing we are saying that machine learning is a big circle where the deep of machine learning. But the term AI is popular. It's because of these machine learning and deep learning in the recently. Okay, so this is the relationship between machine learning and deep learning. This is with respect to here. So AI and where we started with machine learning, started with deep learning. From 30 years, the earlier AI models, reasoning based or rule-based model, until 2010, and say that machine learning. Okay. So only that now still 2020 we are seeing that deep learning still is a powerful model to a wide range of. This is that it's called as the landscape of AI. AI is everywhere now. As we know that we cannot say AI or machine learning.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Voice break is there. Are you using a LAN or a mobile Wi-Fi, sir?
No, I'm using LAN only, sir. Actually,
LAN only,
so morning I had given a say 2-3 meetings. I don't have a problem. It's fine now, or no, whatever I'm talking is fine.
No problem, sir. Morning time, no problem. Yeah. Can you please connect again one more time?
Okay.
Disconnect and connect, sir. We'll see that.
Is it a problem from my side, or can I ask the participants also?
Participants also saying, other participants, is there any voice breakage?
Yes, sir. We had the voice break. We have.
Okay. Fine.
Yes, sir. Voice is breaking, sir.
Okay. I'll
breaking.
stop and then I'll come back, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Better to reconnect once, sure. Sir, please.
Even in previous session also it was breaking.
Morning first session is good, na? No problem. No.
Yes, sir. First session there was no problem. Second session onwards, sir, there is voice breakage.
Okay. Maybe network problem either our side or resource person side. We don't know. We will see again.
May not be from our side.
Yeah, maybe. That's why yesterday is good full, and today morning also good. Only second session and this session only. But sorry, saying for his side he attended 2 meetings.
In the morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it fine? Can you?
No, even now same thing, sir.
Same, sir.
Voice
One
pattern.
second. One second.
Okay, okay.
One second. One second. Once again.
Okay, sir. Okay, take your time. No problem.
Participants, is it fine now? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Now it is
Yes,
very
sir.
clear. Very
Now it
clear.
is clear, sir.
Now it's clear. So I just
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
little close. If anything, please feel free to stop me. Okay.
Yes, sir. Definitely, no
I'm
problem.
not seeing the
Now-
chat box. So if you want to stop me, just to interrupt me.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir.
Okay. I'll start sharing the screen. Can I go back and explain the things, or continue from here? Where you had it, I can.
No problem, sir. Continue, sir. Continue. No need to go back.
So I'll start from the one slide back. So I explained about with respect to year. So A 1950 it started, and then till 80 the term models were popular. So after the 80s, the machine learning models, neural networks, as well as the SVM. Now 2010 we are to 20 completely we are relying on the deep learning models. So everywhere the deep learning is not, even the machine learning was not that popular, and there may be some areas where machine learning have been applied, but deep learning is not like that. So everywhere for all the areas, the deep learning, all the domains, all the fields can say that the deep learning enter, and then it's giving the performance with the state of art accuracy. That's the reason why deep learning is popular. Deep learning is not popular in one such a day. It's because of various reasons why the deep learning is popular. We see to it. Okay, saying about the landscape, as I said, that AI. So the applications with respect to that AI, starting from personal assistant, autonomous car, and security, and the trans models. And you can say that real-time emotion analytics, chatbot, language processing, and these are the few areas, autonomous system. So AI everywhere now, so we cannot restrict that. Whenever you are having a data, then you can say you can play AI. It means that DL, fine. So as you know that, I think enough about the machine learning. So go to that different about machine learning and deep learning. Before these two slides, I'll give some awareness about why we need to export, or why we need to apply, why we need to do research, or why we need to learn or update the things with respect to deep learning and machine learning. If you see that this slide is from the LinkedIn top 20 jobs into and the first one is the machine learning. Machine learning means it's obviously. Next one is data scientist. Data scientist is also where we refer to machine learning skill. So this is with respect to India, the range. This is a little old slide, 2018 slide, where you can see the top places captured by machine learning and data scientist. So this is from the famous World Economic Forum. Hello. Am I audible? Okay. This is from the World Economic Forum.
Sir, continue.
Yeah. So it's from World Economic Forum. So where where it says about top 10 emerging jobs and then top training jobs. Some reason you can see here why that AI is popular now. We will see that, and as you know that the companies, even with a small company with the 5-6 people, with a small startup with the 5-6 people, they are working on the term called automation. As you people aware, automation changed the world completely. So why these people are trying with automation? What they want to achieve? So they are reducing the manpower. That's one thing. From using that, they are going to save money. It means that they are going to increase their profit, and they want to do certain things in a faster. So that's a one side. Everywhere now, it's starting from the low-level jobs to high-level white-collar jobs. Everything is entered. The automation with the help of deep learning, it's entering. See, from the example, small example, I can say that. Is it possible for you to the customer care of your mobile network, Airtel or Jio? So I don't know about other networks. I'm saying about Airtel. Is it possible for us to talk to them? No. Even we can talk to the CEOs, we cannot talk to the customer care numbers. So see that this is one example of the automation as well as the things. So this automation is not an intelligent automation. It's like just a recorded one. But what is happening there? Earlier, if you want to contact to the customer care, even one number or within a 2-3 steps, we can easily connect. Now, definitely it's not possible. You should wait for 10 minutes or 15 minutes to get connected with the people to talk. So this is not a right way to do that, and this is not a real meaning of automation. Company thinks that this is the automation. This is an example. This is automation. If they are doing automation also, our waiting time should not be. You see that our waiting time is increased due to automation. So I have seen that some people responded why we are going for machine learning faster. Is it we are getting the things in our hand faster now? Due to this kind of automation, this is not a right procedure to do automation. This definitely it's not right automation way. So we cannot contact. So what they are doing in that, they have recorded options and then they are asking us to select that. And here, if you see that, so this is the best example of reasoning-based model as well as that deep learning-based model. In this is whatever they have introduced us, or reasoning-based model. So we are in a decision tree. You can see here, we are choosing the options. Our problem may not be listed, even though we have to wait for 2, 3, 4, and we have to check all the options and we have to see that whether our problem is listed or not. So this is the thing, they have some set of options. So they are asking us to choose any of these options. So it means that they don't have answers for the question what you have. They don't want to hear your questions. If it's a really automation system, whatever you are talking, so they should ask that, okay, please message your problem or speak your problem. Once you are saying that system should automatically understand that your problem, and it should try to find a solution in an automatic way, or it should connect to the customer care. That is a real automation. But the bad practice what the company is having is they are doing the automation in a completely different way. Their automation means that they are cutting jobs of customer care people and making a customers to wait. Okay, so this level, that is we can say that it's a data entry as well as that the customer care. We used to say the BPO. So that kind of jobs affected due to this bad practice. And here it's happening, but in some countries, in some really good companies, they have the real automation systems. Even if you call that company, they will give you a 30 seconds of time. So you can talk and then you can record your problem. So the system automatically will understand that, and then it will search the options for you, and then it will help you the solution what I said. Instead of asking you to go select this one, select one, type 2, type 3 and all, that is not an automation. Okay, so this top 10 emerging jobs, if you see that A and then data scientist is first 2 position. If the top 10 declining jobs, if you see that data entry clerk, see that it's because of the automation, data entry clerk. So I can give a small application here, the receipt. So if you people are, you are working in an institute where there will be accounts department, their job is to handle the heterogeneous type of receipts. Correct. Different kind of receipts will come. They have to enter that in a tally or in an Excel sheet or for payroll system. So many receipts they have to daily. They have to handle near 10 to say some 100 to 200 receipts. So the big companies also they want to handle. They need to handle these kind of receipts. So in the real automation, so instead of asking a person to type, if I'm scanning the receipt, system should understand the columns. System should understand the field and the field name, and it should convert that to a structured information. It should store in an Excel sheet or a MySQL, whatever I want. This is a small example where the data entry jobs can be the automated. People are working on it actually. Still, that what I said is a little tricky problem. But small problems, small direct problems are there where the people or data entry clerks are replaced with the automation systems. Say, for example, filling the forms. So even I just 2 days back, I received a video in WhatsApp. So where I can easily understand that that is a video about an actor. So I can easily understand that the voice behind that is not the recorded one; it's an automated one. They have collected the text, they have given to the text to speech, and from the text to speech, the speech signals they are taken, and then they have merged with the with the image sequences. So see that this is also one automation. This is because instead of recording, instead of asking a person to person to speak and then record, they have automated. So that, but here and there, we know that we cannot expect 100% result. If we are receiving 100% result in a machine learning deep learning model, then definitely there will be some issue with that model. So 100% result is not at all possible in any automation system. Okay, so why I'm saying that video. So if you can clearly see that sometimes the in between sentence dot is there means system is spelling out. It's like a dot. For example, it's saying that data analyst and scientist dot two dot like that. So because system, we know this, it's a human. If we are reading and then it be completely different. This is the one way where the automation fails. This is where the data entry clerks. Earlier, if you want to fill the forms, I'm taking your details, I'm taking your complete resume. So I want to fill that information. That is usually with HR. In industry, there will be a team working on it. Their job is to receive the biodata, and they will feed to into their format, to structured format. So that can be easily automated. You just convert the things, convert the necessary things. You are searching the name from your resume, keeping the name, and you are searching your age or gender. You are just keeping it as a file. You are converting. You are connecting with the voice generator, and then it will record whatever voice is coming. If you want to record a voice, or if you want to record the text, can be taken. That's what I'm saying, that the top declining jobs in future 2022 is this one. Okay, so if you closely see that, this we can say that data entry or accounting, bookkeeping, and all the small level, the low level jobs. Fine. So the higher level jobs, the white collar job, we used to call it as doctors, teachers, and I can say that the lawyers and all. So everywhere the deep learning entered. As you know that any guess about the doctor's diagnosis accuracy in the worldwide? Doctors approximate diagnosis accuracy, human doctors accuracy. Any guess? What spends?
Sir, actually, it has become very less actually.
Okay.
Maybe below 50.
Okay, so around, as per the WHO, they are saying that 60 to 70. So human doctors diagnosis accuracy. So, but the few scientists, they developed a system for diagnosis. So their accuracy is the first attempt itself, with the help of huge data, first attempt itself, the model reached above 90%. You see that it's very difficult to, I'm not saying that, so suddenly we should close all the medical colleges and then we should depend on the computers. There are other problems are there. There is other concept called other terms are nowadays coming is about AI safety. How can we use AI in a safe way? That's the other thing. Okay, when you're that's not a scope of this presentation. When you're talking about this doctor's accuracy, so you can see here, so the doctor's knowledge can be understand whatever doctor knowledge having the knowledge, it can be converted to a machine understandable things. And accuracy also it's better. So, but that the system is not now it's not, the system is not open due to some safety issues. because that 4%, the 4% itself, we cannot, we cannot relay. It's difficult to find out where that 4% wrong. That's a problem. Why there are some technical glitches to deploy that kind of systems. In case of doctors, if you see that, even though they are prescribing wrong medicine or the low dose medicine, high dose medicine, so within 2 days, I think what they will suggest to doctors, if you go after 3 days, they'll ask us to come. It means that it's a trial. So they are checking whether your body will suit this medicine, whether their diagnosis is correct or not. If you're not well, if you're going back again, then they'll completely change their medication and then they'll do the things. That's a usual thing. But that kind of feedback system is not now currently implemented with the help of automation systems. This is the one white collar job where the doctor's future, I'm saying that in 2030 or 2025, doctors' job also get affected because of this automation. Fine. Lawyers. Now, if you're really speaking, so what the lawyers, if you talk to them, what the objective, if you see that what they know, if you see that they know all the rules and they know what you can say that. I forgot that the EPICO, these kind of things, that rules and all, they know that. And then they know that which case is matched with which section, and then what may be the solution, and what may be the how can we come out of this problem. So these kind of things they know. That also can be automated. If you are feeding that kind of rules, the written rules to the machine can automate it. So in US, the average people, the most of the people are spending money on getting the legal advice, and the second one is for dentist. These two are the major thing. So getting the legal advice. So why don't we automate that? So that's the other direction it's going on. So where India also, India, if you see that, particularly countries like India, we have huge number of pending cases. The reason, if you see that judges may change, sometimes the government lawyers may change. So the case size, the case document size may be 4,500 pages. So recently I have read in news that in a particular case, government is saying that the case, this is 1,500 pages. They are planning to translate that to the regional languages, because the person involved in the case is telling that I don't understand English, so they are translating to his language, regional language. And when he gets translated, and then it will take some time, the judge the judge may change. So the new judge, whether can we expect a new judge will read all these 1,500 pages and he will take a decision? Definitely not. So we need a good automatic summarizer, NLP summarizer, to summarize this document to make it into 5 to 10 pages. That's other interesting research area, legal analytics. So have a system. They have a system. Initially, they started with this summarization. Initially, how the AI enters in automation, enters into the computers, enters into the human field. No? Initial part is computers. Computers initially people said that computers is going to assist you. First, you just to think a customer care system. So people sitting and then BPO kind of thing is answering the queries. So people, one guy, the company is helping him to assist him to maintain the records, and then they are providing computers. After some time, we see that the person may leave, only computers will be there. Computers may handle that. So initially, the computers enter into the assistive mechanism, and then it's replacing the human. Same thing the AI is doing. So when this legal analytics case, as I said that, initially, people are not interested in doing this kind of research. These people, set of lawyers, started that contacting scientists, and then they just said that we want some assistive system. So we cannot spend much time on reading this 1,500 to taking decisions. Why don't you give us some assistive system to summarize the system? So people, set of scientists, with it's a multi-million funding project. So they funded, and then they got a interesting system. So after getting the system, the lawyers are happy, and then instead of reading the complete case document, they refer only few things, and then they started taking decisions. Fine. Now, this computer scientist, what they tried now, so this, after giving this 10 or 15 pages, these people are taking decision. Why don't I automate that also? Initial system is, the purpose is to convert the 1,500 to 15 or 150. After 150, the lawyers are looking at the 150 or sorry, 150 or 15 pages, taking decision. This computer scientist look one step, make a step, one step forward, move one step forward, and see that, okay, this 15, based on the 15 pages only, this lawyer is taking decision. Why don't I make a machine to do the same? They tried and they succeeded. So doctor's job and lawyer's job. We know the teacher's job also, due to this online classes and then recorded lectures, it's already, we are in a declining stage. Fine. So these three things, maybe future we can expect robots can come and then your job may be create a slides and then you have to put it in there. A voice engine automatically read the slides. It may read in your voice also. Things are possible. Alexa can talk in your language. I mean, in your voice. Alexa can talk in your wife's voice, so that things might be possible. Okay, these things are making the data scientist as well as the AI in the top emerging position. So this affects the all other fields, not only the low level. As I said, that I mean white collar jobs, say let's say lawyer or doctors also may get affected in future. Fine. So when we are talking about that deep learning, so slowly we entered the deep learning. So we are saying about the top company using more number of I mean working on the more number of deep learning based project is, as you know, that Google. So yesterday there is a news that because of a certain small, I mean some problem with the Google network, everything got affected, from the payments, from the payment and from the mail, everywhere. Now you can see that Google is everywhere now. We cannot say any place where Google is not. Google is everywhere. All the services they are giving free up to certain limit. If you want to increase your memory size in your Gmail account, then you have to pay more. So up to now you are getting the information about Google Pay also. So January 1 onwards, there will be service charge for Google Pay, like that. Okay. So initially, why this Google is that much popular in now compared to all other companies? There are certain reasons for that. So when the deep learning comes into picture, as I said, that 2006 the paper comes. 2006 the deep learning paper comes into picture. 2010 onwards the deep learning term was popular. But see that the number of projects in that early date means when the deep learning comes into picture, 2010 and 11 and 12. So Google started with a very few deep learning projects, but gradually they improved a lot from 50 to 350, and 2015 they reached the project size now 2,800. I don't have the count of 2020. Definitely the count may be near 10,000. Now the 10,000 projects, DL related projects, Google working on. Can you imagine that? Is it the same growth the companies did that? Few companies only taken that, and other companies failed to convert that as a products. So Google directly taken this deep learning and then they just integrate it with their software project. It means that their products. Other companies they taken deep learning as a research one and then they just pushed money towards a research. That's a mistake they have done. Google wisely what they did is they have putting the things together, applicate product as well as a research, product-based research. And that is the one wise thing Google did. And the second point, this is my view actually. The second point, what they did is they hired the deep learning experts, fresh experts, whoever published the paper, whoever published the top paper, I mean, with the novel concepts in the deep learning, irrespective of the field in the bioinformatics, computer vision, NLP, they immediately they offered the job in the Google, and then they created a separate wing called the Google Mind, and then they just moved across it. That's the reason why Google still it's in the top position. Fine. The one reason is that deep learning. Okay, so these are the related fields, allied fields with respect to machine learning and deep learning. Machine learning is not a field related to computer science, so or not a field related to it's a common. Like how can you say a computer? Can you say that computers are related to computer science field? Definitely not. Everyone is using computer. Can you say the programming is a computer science field? That is also not. Programming is nowhere related to computer science nowadays. Doctors are learning programming. Doctors are learning Python. So programming is not a field of computer science now. That is also becoming common. like that only machine learning and deep learning. It's a common. So wherever you are having a data, you have a data in your in your physics field or chemistry field, you have some set of data and a set of popular in a short time period. Okay, so when you're coming to that deep learning, before going to that, one slide I want to spend and I want to say that about the machine learning. Okay, so in order to explain this slide, I just moving here. So this is the difference between the machine learning and then traditional programming. I asked the first question about the machine learning. So what is mean by machine learning? I hope you people recollect that, why we are going to machine learning, I asked. So the alternate thing is, initial days, there is no concept of machine learning. How the people tried that automation and other things. Even the AI comes into picture. AI is 50s, it started 1950s. People started implementing the AI algorithms, AI models with the help of programming. Now ML also we are going into programming. But programming, if you compare the programming and machine learning, you see here, if you have a data, say for example, I'm saying the data, I'm going to convert, I'm going to write a program, I'm asking to write a program to do a factorial, say for example. So you have a data, you are giving some data file, you are having the data function, you are writing a program, factorial, and you are getting the output, 5 factorial, 5 factorial is 120. This is the output you are getting. This is, are you agree that this is a traditional programming? What happening in machine learning, you see that, like one data, if I'm giving the other data, 6, so I'll get the other value. 6 into 120, I guess it's a 720. Okay, so like this we have our how many data points we are giving, that the factorial program will work. Fine, this is a traditional programming. Machine learning, the same thing we are doing in a terms of machine. So what I'm doing is in terms of algorithm, 5 and 6 I am taking, okay, and I'm taking these values 120 and 720. I'm taking these values, I'm giving to the computer, I'm asking the computer to find out what is the relation between these two values. If 5 is going to convert into 120 and then he is telling that 6 is going to be 60 is converting into 170. Suppose a person is coming in giving a new number, I should have mechanism to convert into the other number. Suppose a person is coming with some number 7. So I should know that without knowing that what is this factorial or whatever, I'm just giving these examples to the computer. Again, repeating, I'm going as you know that what is machine learning, so I'm not spending much time on explaining here. I'm just giving the rough idea and just brush up the things. So 120 and then 720. These two you are giving to your, sorry for my handwriting, computer. The computer, what you are expecting is, you are expecting some function. This function is called a factorial function. So once you got the function, then any number, if you're passing to the function, you'll get the output. So this is what the difference between the machine learning and the programming. So now I'll come back to the definition of that machine learning. So I'll answer the question what I asked earlier, why we are going to do the thing, why we want to do why we need machine learning. Fine. Why we need machine learning. Fine. Okay, if you close this, is that, as I said earlier, suppose I'm asking you to write a code on factorial. So is it how many times, I think within 5 minutes, I think you people may be good in programming. Within 5 minutes, you can write a program. Okay. If I'm asking a person who doesn't know anything about factorial, I'm asking a person to write a program about a factorial, whether he can do that? Participants? Why he cannot do that?
Can I speak, sir?
Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, you don't know the definition of the factorial. Therefore,
Yeah.
you may not write the program. What the
So
input has
if we know, yeah, if
what
he
the
knows,
declaration has to give.
yeah. So if you are teaching him about the factorial, then he can do.
Yeah.
If he understands what is factorial, then he can do that. He can convert that into a programming.
Yes, sir.
As you said that he doesn't know anything about factorial, so he cannot do that. If he knows about the factorial, he can do. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm asking you, sir. What's your name, sir?
I am V. Anand, Dr. V. Anand.
Dr. V. Anand. So I'm just asking, Doctor, you have seen Dr. Suresh, no? Who is organizing this program.
Yeah.
Do you know him? Do you know him personally? Do you know him?
No,
Or?
no, sir. With this workshop only, I know virtual, not
Okay.
physically.
Fine, fine. Yeah, but tomorrow, if you see him in somewhere in Kasaragod railway station or somewhere, can you able to recognize him?
Definitely.
Definitely. Okay. So you know this concept, like factorial. You know that how can you know about Kumar sir? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
You know how he looked like, and then you are saying that. That's what I'm asking. So you know the concept. Can we make a program, sir, for this?
Yeah, we can do it, sir.
Okay.
Taking
How
some
much
characters
time?
like matching
Yeah.
the eyes, matching the
Okay.
nose.
Okay. So this is for one person. Like one person you are doing fine. Suppose you are solving this problem with a 80% or 90% accuracy. Perfect. Like Kumar sir, you may know more people. Am I correct? You may know your family members. You have your friends. You have your colleagues, relatives, friends, everywhere. Can you make this program to generalize it, to identify any of these persons? Because you know the concept now. So you are identifying your son, you are identifying your friend. Each one, whether you need to write a program.
Probably.
It's just a discussion, sir. You just don't think that I'm asking question or asking.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Just a discussion, so
Thank
people will understand. Fine, no problem.
Thank you.
If it's wrong, also no problem. You just involve in the discussion. That's it. So people will get the things clearly. That's what I'm asking. Is it possible for us to do it, sir, with the programming? So we have some limit. So we can do only for certain things. Other thing is, even though if you're doing programming, from the certain, I think I can say that certain view only it may work. Because you are identifying, you are writing the rules. You said that you are going to write the rules about the eyes or cheeks or nose or something. But if you are seeing in some other direction, if you are seeing you are seeing only you are seeing in a, say that 30 degree, not in the straight, 30 or 60 degree from the left side or 60 degree from right side, still your brain recognize. Am I correct, sir? Okay, so you have a, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, audible.
Okay, fine, thank you. So that is the power of your brain. How your brain recognize this is Kumar sir, this is Anand, or this is Anand Kumar, like that. Oh, interesting to see that Anand Kumar. Okay, so this is the power of our brain. So it understands, it's from the image, it records, and then it understands the things. Fine. So I asked you to convert into a programming, or I ask you to describe it how you are solved. If I'm asking that, how you know that factorial, sir? Can you describe? You can explain. How you are solving this equation, you can explain. But I'm asking how you identified this one. You cannot describe. So certain things a human cannot describe. That's what, as I said earlier, when I'm starting the presentation, I made this one. Certain things, complex problems, I can say that human cannot describe, but they know how to do it. That's the power of our brain. They know how to do it. They cannot describe. So for this purpose, we are using we are going for machine learning. So now other simple thing I'm asking. One I explained with respect to computer vision. Other one I'll just take the one NLP example I'll take. So here, if I'm asking you people, near 100 people are there, how many of you are fluent in Malayalam? Roughly say that how many percentage of people are grammatically fluent? They know that grammatically exactly they can speak Malayalam or they can write Malayalam. How many percentage of people will be there here? Okay, say some 70, 80 people are there. Fine. Okay, so you know the Malayalam language grammar, sir. I can identify if any error is there in the grammar in a Malayalam sentence. I can identify, sir. I can speak the Malayalam fluently. You are saying that. Can I ask you to convert that into a grammar? Can you write a grammar book of Malayalam using that knowledge? Can we write, sir? It means that can we describe that what we know? Participants? Yes or no? Hello, participants? Okay, so people are responding in okay, chat box. Fine, thank you. So 60%, sorry, I haven't seen the chat box. Okay, 60%, no. John is saying yes. Yes. So how can you write grammar, sir, with the knowledge whatever we are having? Is it possible, sir, to write that? In a Malayalam, you just try to write a one Malayalam rule, one Malayalam sentence rule or something from with the help of your understanding. So it's very difficult to take that. That's what I'm saying, that it's a complex problem. So certain things we can describe, you can talk the things in fluently, but you can do it, but you cannot describe it. So that's the reason how you are identifying the objects, how you are recognizing the words, how you are recognizing the persons, everything. So, but you can make a program, as I said that to the Anand sir, that so the program will be highly complicated for identifying the one person. It's highly complicated. Then if you want to do for 100%, you see that each time each code will be completely different. So we don't have a generalized one. If you're going for a programming, see that we don't have a generalized. Programming means it's a generalized. If I'm giving a 5 factorial, 5, I'm giving an input to the factorial, I'm running the same program. If you're asking a 6 or 7 factorial, whether I'm doing something different program, same program I'm running. It means that the generalization is there. But in this case, the generalization is not at all possible. If you are developing that kind of thing, it's highly complicated one. So what we are trying to do that, why it's complicated? So we are trying to mimic how our brain works. Definitely we cannot mimic our brain. If you are mimicking our brain, means then that the research in the AA field is complete. Am I correct? The AA field, what they are trying to do in AA, they try to capture the natural intelligence artificially. That's artificial intelligence. So if you are identifying that correctly, then that AA itself, it's gone, because you build a complete AA system. You developed a artificial brain. So where it will work like a human brain. Fine. Okay. So that we have decided that with the help of a programming skill, we cannot solve this complex problem. Okay. So now somehow I should solve that. How can I solve the things? I have to solve that face recognition. So now I'm just checking, I'm just asking the Anand sir, and then I'm just seeing that how he understands that he is the coordinator is Kumar. So he has seen him for last 2-3 days. He has seen him near 10-20 times. He has seen that all the 20 images are recorded in his brain. Am I correct? So from that he can easily recollect that he is a Kumar. Tomorrow if he is seeing somewhere, so your brain is doing the matching, similarity matching. If you're seeing some document, you just close your eyes and then you just open, and then you can easily say that this is computer. How you are saying it's computer? You have seen so many times, you have seen this computer. How a kid, if you are asking, kid also can say, a 3-year-old kid, first time if you are saying that this is apple, sorry, 2-year-old kid now, 1-year-old, first time you are saying the apple, next time it will say that apple. So brains recorded that information. So when the new object, if you are seeing, it will match, it will do the search engine. It will search with all the images stored in your brain. So that much information is stored in your brain with the help of neurons. In the deep learning and machine learning, we try to mimic the same. So how you are storing the information? So you are storing the information as multiple images. Multiple times you have seen Kumar sir. That's what you are identifying. If you are asking me whether I won't identify, because I have seen him only once or twice. So I cannot identify. It means that 1 or 2 examples are not enough for my brain to learn. So I need some 50 examples. 50 examples means 50 images of the annotated images. So this way they solve the problem of the face recognition or the other complicated problems. So how a brain works, as I said, that it's collecting the information from the examples. So manually we will collect out of examples, and we'll feed that examples to the computer. Let the computer will learn. As I said about the identification of a person, I mean Kumar sir. So like a Kumar sir, if you are collecting some 20 images, I mean you want to identify whether he is Kumar or not. So you are collecting some images of all the participants, and you are making a system to train. If you are giving a new image, system should identify that this is Kumar. So this is the machine learning, a simple explanation of machine learning with respect to how our brain understands. Fine. Can I move next? If you have any clarification, you can ask now. Participants? Any clarifications? Fine. Okay, I'll continue. I haven't finished my, someone asking the attendance. I haven't finished my presentation. Okay, fine. I'll just continue. So, this famous person, a Turing awardee Simon, his statement about machine learning. Machine learning is concerned with computer programs that automatically improve their performance through experience. That experience is nothing but a data. Examples. With the help of data and examples, we are going to improve the improve the programs. It means that with machine learning, there will be some other programs also will be there, no? UI or user interface or anything, which can say the programs. Okay, so why now that machine learning or deep learning are popular? Why particularly deep learning is popular? So as I said, that the reason, if you see that flood of available data. So 80% of the data, whatever you are having now in the World Wide Web, generated in the last few years. So you can see that, you can visualize that how exponentially we are moving. It means that 80% data generated in the last few years. So definitely that whatever we are now, I think we started using good number of huge virtual meetings and then recorded lectures. So definitely the exponentially already it will be increased. 2021, if you are seeing that, it will be huge. So data is increasing exponentially. So increasing computational power. Earlier we are worrying about accessing GPUs, or we are worrying for 4 GB, 8 GB machine. Now the computational power is not at all an issue. You have a free access, GPU access, free GPU access are available. Google Cloud is there, Amazon Web Services is there, like that. So GPU access, I mean limited access is there. GPU Colab is there, Google Colab is there. Limited GPU. Even earlier it was not there. No, computational power is not at all an issue now. Growing, we are talking about the petaflops. Earlier we started about the GB and all, now only petaflops. Okay, supercomputers. And the growing, the third is important, growing progress in the available algorithms. Earlier, if you see that, one algorithm they are coming, one SVM is there, the variant of SVM, it took near 3 years to come a new algorithm in SVM. So 3 years only SVM rules the world. Is it true now? Daily one deep learning algorithm, 1 or 2 deep learning algorithms are coming. Different modification people are doing, and the new algorithms with the code, with the explanation, everything is coming. Earlier it was not like that. There won't be any specific platform to share the codes. Paper will take long time to publish. Once after publishing, then you have to understand the maths behind the paper, and you have to reverse engineer the things. Now you don't need to do anything. Paper is coming with the source code. If you type the paper in the GitHub, 80% of the paper, that too, journals also, they are, suggesting that faculty, they are suggesting that users to submit a data set as well as the source code also. So the algorithms are not a problem now, and increasing support from industries. So the earlier the gap between the industry and academia, so that is also solved now. So the industries are supporting for the automation, because they, if you see that the earlier industries and the earlier companies, they will work for other companies. Small companies will work for big companies. Big companies also sometimes, big companies will work for the government project and big projects. That's the usual thing. Now, because of this automation and then deep learning, each companies are working for themselves. They have their own projects. They need their own automatic systems. So they are working on their own projects. So that way, the support from the industries are increased in the automation and then deep learning. Okay, this I have already explained that, and I'll just slowly move to the types of machine learning where that exactly the deep learning comes into picture. You can see here So this is the where that deep learning comes into picture. So I'll just to start with the difference between the machine learning and the deep learning. So I can just go back to the slide and then. Okay, so when you're talking about that machine learning and deep learning, you people are aware about the machine learning input we are giving, and we have a manual feature extraction and classification. So, but in a deep learning models input, this manual feature extraction and the classification we are putting together in a deep learning model. We are clubbing this together instead of making algorithm to one. Earlier, the algorithms are used only for classify. Now, making an algorithm to extract the features. Deep learning is called as a feature learning model. So you are using the deep learning for learning the features also. I hope you are aware about machine learning feature extraction. So I'm just touching the deep learning directly here. So instead of asking a human to define the features, we are asking the machine to understand the features. That is deep learning. Fine. So data means the sample, like as I said earlier, I don't want to say data means with specific to particular domain. Wherever you are having a structured data or unstructured data with a good quantity and then with quality, then we can say that you can apply the deep learning models. So these are the types of the machine learning model. So I am just skipping these things because as we know already about I guess about machine learning, I'll just touch the deep learning part. This is with respect to the Google trend. The place of deep learning, it's already reached the 100 maximum limit in the 2017 Google search. So this is an interesting competition. ImageNet, computer vision people may aware this. So in 2010, so the error rate is 28.1. But now in 2015 itself, the error rate is reduced drastically. The accuracy is 96%, 96.5% accuracy. With the machine learning model, the accuracy is reached about 80, 85. After increasing the number of layers, see that you are increased to 152 layers. We have good computational power now. So 152 layers they have increased, and then they trained the model. They fit the model with 96.5. So what exactly the deep learning is? So as I said that earlier, so the reason for the term deep is not only because of the several layers. The term deep comes with that how we are storing the information in our brain. So if you are seeing the new car, that information will be stored in your brain. How it will store? No, that in your brain there will be a place where to store the vehicles, automatic vehicles. There in the vehicles subtype car, in the subtype this particular brand of the car. So where in this particular place, if you are seeing the new car, that information will be stored there. The information stored in the hierarchically, the information is stored in the brain. Same thing we are trying to understand from the deep learning also. So what we are trying is each layer we are trying to make. First layer we are asking the system to find out whether it's a vehicle or not. Second layer you can ask the system to find out whether it's a car, which brand of the car, and finally you are coming out what is the name of the car. Same thing here, how the brain is working. Okay, so the other important question people used to ask, this in deep learning we are adding only the multiple layers, but earlier there is a concept called the multi-layer neural networks. But 25 years back itself, it was the 90s itself it's introduced, but it was not that much popular. The reason is there were not a good algorithms to learn the weights of the network. If you are adding, if you see that with the help of deep learning, I'm seeing the 152 layers. Even you can say the multi-layer networks also you can go with the 152 layers. But the deep learning provides the special algorithms to learn the weights, the networks properly. So that's the important thing here. Okay, so when you're saying that the types of the deep learning, the important one is or the CNN. CNN mostly it's used for the computer vision task, recurrent neural networks for NLP, and then the sequence labeling task, and adversarial network for generating the images or generating the sentences. So autoencoders is an interesting type of neural network deep learning models where it will help to learn the sequence to sequence, image to image, or text to text, sentence to machine translation, text to converting as Chinese to Malayalam, or Malayalam to Chinese, where you can try that encoder based model. GAN, you can see that some 6 months, or I don't remember exactly, some 4 or 5, 6 months back, I can say that 6 months, Facebook introduced some application. It was very popular, age app. So you can convert your face, if you are uploading your face, and then you can convert your face to how you look like in a 60 or 70. So that the major role of that algorithm is generative adversarial networks, GAN. So this will help you to generate the new model. So machine learning is not only the part of classifying something. People used to say that machine learning means classification. Definitely not. One part of machine learning is classification. So other parts are generating. In machine translation, it's generating the new sentence. So generation is there. In adversarial network also, it's doing the generation. So generation and filling the values, filling the missing values, and modeling that. So COVID case you can model with the help of machine learning. So it's like a prediction model, and how can you represent the certain things visually, how it's emerged, and everything you can do with that machine learning or deep learning model. Okay, so this is a very basic. So I don't want to spend much time on basic or what is neural network and all. Maybe you can easily learn the things. I hope you are aware that. Here I just to say that what is the feed forward network, and then what is recurrent neural network. When you say the feed forward network, the network moves in, the algorithm moves in one direction. So there won't be any cycle in that feed forward network from input to output. In that other model, recurrent network, so we will come back. So we'll come back. It's like a feedback we are giving. So the input is not only depends on the previous layer, the next layer also. You can see the red color line here, the recurrent network. So that is the example of LSTM and then its variants, recurrent neural network and other models. So this is the recurrent neural network, and this is a feed forward network. Okay. So this is just a simple neural network model. I'm just not spending here the example. Due to time, I just directly go to the application side. So this is a simple neural network. You can understand that how it's working. In the machine learning or deep learning, what we are doing is we are trying to map the input to the output. Here, this handwritten digit diagonalization problem, you have an input of 256 numbers. It's a matrix, 256. It's a 16 cross 16 matrix. You are making it as a vector of 256. The 256 numbers, you are converting the 256 numbers to 10 numbers. Why the 10 numbers is 10 classes, 0 to 10 class, 0 to 9. So this is what we are doing. It's as a mapping. So handwritten digit diagonalization. So usually we can call it as a function mapping. Your job is to find out the function. As I said in the first earlier slides, input is given, output is given. Your job is to find a function. Same thing. You have to find out the F. The F is doing the mapping from 256 to 10. What is the F? That you have to find out. That is deep learning or machine learning. So these things you can have a look. I think it's a basic thing. So I'll directly go to the applications. Yeah. So when you are saying that as I said about the generative adversarial networks, so the interesting application is you can see here of machine learning, how it's generating the new faces or generating the face with glasses. You see here, I have something called man with glasses. I'm taking all the matrix of man with glasses. From there, I'm subtracting that with the man images. So the remaining thing is man with glass minus man without glass. So it means that the difference is glass. That glass, I am adding that glass information to the image of female. So here the difference is glass. So mathematically we are doing, see that mathematically we are doing here the image. So that glass I am adding to this lady. So the final output is look like this. This is the real output of the system. You can refer this archive. Convolutional generative adversarial networks, convolutional, deep convolutional GAN. So see here that the lady with the glasses are coming. So this is the power of deep learning models. So these are the applications. So I don't want to go one by one applications. I just mentioned only that because wherever data is that we cannot say that deep learning is applied to only this area or that area. Wherever if you feel that data is there, you can apply deep learning models. Even in even in civil engineering, even in mechanical engineering, people started applying that deep learning. Okay, this is another interesting task where the image can be searched. If you are giving the image, it will produce the text information. So I mean to see here is now that the fields, because of the deep learning, different fields are merging together. So this application requires the computer vision plus natural language processing applications. So both together we are using here, and then we are solving these applications. We are solving this problem. So the major applications only I would like to talk. So you can see that the computer vision. So the best example we are seeing that daily we are the COVID time. So using the cam, the people are trying to find out the temperature of the person. This is one application, and they are taking the X-ray scan images, and they based on the X-ray scan images, they are predicting whether the person is having the COVID or not. Computer vision perspective. In a speech and audio perspective, as I said, that translating from one language to other language, it's a never-ending problem. Other one is that audio. So as I said that, why don't you just think that if you are really working on this area, you just do some, try to see that Alexa may talk in some other's voice. Why don't you convert that Alexa to talk like you are a child? So talk like you are, your wife. So if you are not there, if you are asking something, so Alexa should answer in your wife voice. So there are a lot of new things are coming on it. You can do that, and you can change the voice of other interesting application. What I'm just thinking is actually, say for example, take a person book. Take a person who is not available. Say for example, Abdul Kalam. He is not available. So you want to hear his book. You want to read his book. But now the audiobooks are very popular. People are not spending much time on reading the things. They are just taking the audio. The current audio systems are recorded. So based on his earlier speeches, you take from his pitch information or frequency information, all the hidden information the system should take and should generate something like that. That's an interesting application. And then another point I can say that is actually when you are talking about hello, any doubt? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Audible, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So regarding processing, so one application, as I said, that the interesting application is converting that audio to the person's speech. So, and the other one is, you can see that the Amazon people all are working on this one. So where the Amazon Prime, if you are taking, so there are a lot of movies are there. If you take any movie, for example, take a Malayalam movie, so there are subtitles they are giving. Subtitles they are giving. And what is there? Whether is it possible for you to listen the things in Tamil or other allied languages with the help of system? Now the current not. So in future it may be possible. So future it may be converted in a real time. You no need a specific. So nowadays people are dubbing and other things that should be automated. It should speak in suppose Mammootty is acting, Mammootty how he will speak English. That should be in like the same way. So that's an example. That's other interesting application audio or speech. NLP, there are a lot of applications, recommendation engines, search engines, analysis, and translation, and hate speech recognition, and other things. So these are the important 20 applications. So before stopping the presentation, I just to say that I just listed the applications. It's from the famous website Great Learning. So you can see here it's application of image translation. I'll share the slides. You have a look onto these applications. Image translation. You see that real-time photo I'm taking. It's translated to English, Spanish to English, I think. So this is an interesting application. I have seen that. Using this, you can add sounds to CCTV. As you know that now CCTVs are doesn't have the provision to record the audio. After videos. The example is given. This is not applied to CCTV. They apply to the other small videos and all. You can see here. So these things are available. Object detection, and how old are you, whether you are African or whether you are Asian. So your gender information, everything can be automatically identified. So the example is that Amazon, we are having that. Alexa is there. So Google Pixel Buddy is there. And the top, with respect to healthcare, the applications, people started investing in robot-assisted surgery. Even though still, I mean, robot-assisted surgery, the next one, you see that $40 billion invested. So there are 26. We may expect a good system in robotic surgery. With respect to healthcare, smart health record. So there is an interesting hackathon to find out the doctor consultation fee. You can so because as I said that US they are much worried about the insurance and then other things. So before going to that, before going to the doctor, they can understand that okay, I may require doctor if this case, if this is my sleeping habit, this is my food habits, then next week or sometime I may require a doctor to meet. So before that, they can insure. The short insurance things are also available. Interesting things are there. So with respect to that coronavirus, there are a lot of NLP data sets are there and image data sets are available. You can make use of it. So this is a data set about 36,000 documents. 36,000 manuscripts are available. Using that, you can identify whether the news is fake or not. Because the manuscripts are published in the reputed journals, there won't be any issues in that manuscripts. So you can make use of that information. So this is our we conducted a competition in Malayalam and Tamil and other languages associated with the National University of Ireland. So it's about the competition about identifying the hate speech identification in Tanglish and Manglish. So you can see that there are a lot of hate speech information, hate speech against a political party, about a person, about any TV shows or things are coming. That should be stopped, particularly about women and child all coming. That should be automatically stopped. We don't have provision to automatically stop in current systems. So that is the motive of this one. We have created a sample data set. If you want to work on this, please contact me. I'm happy to share the data set. This is again with respect to COVID, whether the tweets are informative or non-informative. Data set is available. So a huge data set is available related to COVID data set is available. So with respect to the gender, you can identify the gender based on the, based on the comments. Whatever comment they are given, you can identify the gender of the person. So this is a last slide with respect to the cyber security. So you can see that always the anomaly detection. So where the deep learning is the perfect solution to do that. So rather than doing the classification here, the main problem is the class by imbalance. So in anomaly, we may, if it's credit card fraud information, you may have only 50 data points. So but the real transaction, you may have 10,000 data points. So it's very difficult to find out this 50, very difficult to understand these 50 data points. For that deep learning, you have the mechanisms, the smoothing mechanism, as well as the can say the downscaling and upscaling mechanisms are there to deal the data imbalanceness. So one application is that, as I said, the cyberbullying, anomaly detection, and identifying the automatically identifying the cyber threat and any emerging event. Anything is there, then whether the personal information is safe or not. Like that, a lot of applications are there with respect to cybersecurity. This is an interesting slide. It's a last slide about all the deep learning networks. So I don't have time to explain all the networks now. I thought of explaining the networks. Fine, I knew I'll just see another occasion. So these are the networks. The popular networks are, you know, that the generative adversarial networks, and then so all color is having the meaning actually. Just have a look onto it. So it's available. Deep learning networks are it's an interesting one. Start from the small one, perceptron, how the autoencoders will be. So So see that match input and output cell. It means that, so I'm expecting the output, same output here. So wherever this variation encoders, wherever this orange color circle is there, I'm expecting the same output again. Generative models also same output I'm expecting. I'm expecting same output here. Deep belief network also I'm expecting the same output. Okay, with this I'm just stopping now. So I'm before concluding, I'm just saying that it's an interesting field. So there are a good number of tutorials and then online materials with code are available. Make use of it. And if you are doing a research, if you're doing PhD or anything, try to accommodate deep learning model. Otherwise, getting papers in this current scenario is very difficult, and your thesis also may be criticized by the, particularly the foreign examiner. They simply ask you to apply the deep learning model and then compare the results. So that's it from my side. So I'm stopping now here. If you have any questions or anything, we'll have a discussion.
Yes, participants can respond. If you have any doubts, you can raise your hand.
I'll share my email ID. If you have anything, you can contact me also for the data sets or anything.
You can also use the question and answers dialog box, and you can type your questions also, or else you can raise your hand. Gopakumar G, please unmute and ask your question. Gopakumar. Gopakumar, are you there? No. Next, Varsha. Varsha, you can ask.
I'll share the PPTs.
Sir, you please send the PPTs to my mail ID, sir.
Yes, sir. I'll do it.
Okay.
So tomorrow, what time our session, sir? Tomorrow, 4 o'clock.
Tomorrow, same. 4 to 5, sir. Tomorrow, 4 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
What title I have given, sir? NLP, huh?
It is on text mining, NLP.
Okay.
NLP.
Social media. Okay.
Share
the exact title, sir. Okay. So people are asking, I think, about the machine learning with respect to Android app development. So that's an interesting question where I come across. So the main problem in the Android application development is actually, if you closely watch the student, now for front-end development, very few people are interested. People are much interested in doing the backend. Backend means database connectivity and then doing any action thing and all. Designing thing, I don't know why. I guess this is my observation from other side also. People are lost interest for designing, spending much time on designing and coloring and all. That can be automated, that can be generated with the help of machine learning. You are liking some 10 different patterns of Android applications. You are taking the 10 different patterns, you are giving to the machine learning model. You can ask the model to come up with a new pattern like that. The system will find a new pattern for you. That's where you can apply Android. Only concentrate on the neural network on deep learning. Neural network is the basics of deep learning. Deep learning is a synonym term of deep neural networks. So that's what we are saying is the neural networks. There are other algorithms like a convolutional network is there. Reinforcement learning is there. There are a lot of other algorithms out there. You try to read more research papers in your area.
Next, request to all of you fill the attendance. Yes, you can ask, sir. Next.
Next one, someone is asking about, I would like to use memory traces as a data set. It's an interesting thing. Memory traces, you mean to say that, are you working in any neuromorphic computing? Jobin Jose?
Yes. So next.
Okay. So that question is not the memory traces means if you are just to check with the neuromorphic computing, where it's working with that. Even the future machine learning system will be going to act as a time machine also. How your brain will think tomorrow, like that. Future it's possible. And which one to learn first? Machine learning, big data, or big data related with machine learning. So my suggestion is you start with the machine learning, and definitely you will come across. Then you need a big data platform. Sometimes you need a big data platforms to to do the machine learning application, you start with the machine learning, slowly enter into the big data. Deep reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning is like what you can say, that environment-based learning. It's based on the rewards, plus or minus. So trial and error things. In supervised classification, we have a X and Y. Unsupervised, we have only X. X means input data, Y is a label. If you are asking in reinforcement learning, there is no X and Y. There is no fixed data set for that. Each time system will do some operation, it will say that whether it's right or wrong, and it will do the reinforcement learning. The best example.
All of you.
Okay, sir, I am asking about the deep reinforcement learning.
Yeah.
Is there any model related to the deep reinforcement learning is available?
Yes.
Like CNN, RNN models are there.
Yes. Game-based learning is available. Game-based learning environments are available. So, say for example, recently we worked on something called push notifications. In mobile, we used to get a lot of notifications. So how can you identify whether the user is interested in this notification or not? So that is based on that feedback-based mechanism. Based on, suppose.
Okay.
So like that,
feedback,
yes, you just check push notification. There is a concept called deep AI. I forgot the name actually. Possibly tomorrow I'll just recollect and then there is a space. There is a where games can be learned. You can learn any game you can upload and then it will be automatically learned.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So that is so I forgot that website actually, Deep AI or something. You search it. Some codes are available in GitHub. If you are learning and want to get them, how to do it. So you can Google Colab. No, Google Colab is there. You just convert in a Python notebook. That's an easy way to understand it. Nego Agarwal.
Okay. One more question from my side is
Yes.
actually I am doing my research work on deep learning. So I tried the models like CNN and RNN, and there are some inbuilt models like GoogleNet, ResNet, and DarkNet, and many more inbuilt models, pre-trained models are available. So I want to ask that I have studied this that you can change the input layer and the output layer of the pre-trained model. I want to ask that because this is the very initial learning. I am at the very initial step when as I am learning the deep learning models. So I want to ask that can we increase the number of layers also?
But if you see that one of the example, as I said, that 152 layers they have tested, they have trained.
Yes, yeah.
World's bigger, maybe the high-end supercomputers. We don't have that kind of system.
We don't have that type of configuration. Yes, right.
Sorry. What we can do is we can tune the pre-trained models according to your application. The pre-trained model is why they need that much layers, and then why they trained on is. Ma'am, can you mute yourself? Then I'll talk. Some echo is coming. Yeah, thank you. So the reason for the pre-trained model, particularly in the computer vision, is the computer vision. If you closely see the computer vision task, all the problems are all of the computer vision problems. You can say that put it in the one category like image understanding. What is there in the image? That's it. One line is image understanding. Whatever computer vision task you are doing, it's image understanding. You try to identify the objects, you try to track the people, everything is based on the image understanding, not identification, image understanding. So in that way, the pre-trained models are built that way that it is such a way that any computer vision application in future we are going to use, you can use this model, this weight vectors. So where they trained on that object informations. If you are going to the computer vision task, any computer vision task, you can use the pre-trained model as you said that as initially, and at the end of the layer, you can remove the end layer because they trained the layers for identifying the objects. So your objective may be different. You want to identify only maybe the person, or you need to identify only the insect or something. There you change the final layer. That's a reason why that, so the adding a layers is not advisable. So think about the representation or n layers.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. I got the point. Okay, it means that the input we can change the input. We can try the different type of data sets.
Input as well as the output. Input you are changing means input you are passing to the pre-trained model. After you are getting the answers from the pre-trained model, you are passing the pre-trained model information to your classifier. Your classifier means the classifier,
Yes.
what the problem you are working on. You may be
Okay.
working on the age identification from the images. You may be working on the gender identification from images, like that.
Okay.
Okay, that should be a last layer. And some people ask about ANN, Pooja Sharma.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Some question is there in chat box.
Various kinds of neural networks. How can we select a particular ANN for certain problem? Yeah, it needs a good review. As I said, that CNN is good for computer vision tasks. So there is a standard one. Like RNN is good for NLP and any sequence labeling task, because if you are talking about an image, there is no past information or there is no future. There is no future information. But in the text sequence, always there will be a previous word or next word, previous sentence or next sentence. So for that kind of networks, RNN is a suitable one, recurrent neural. For the earlier one, where you are dealing with only the image, so where you can consider the CNN. Certain people will work on the task like video processing, where, as you know, of frames with the temporal details. There you can merge CNN with RNN, and and then it will work perfectly for the video analytics. So this you will get only from the literature perspective. You have to read more papers. Particularly here, if you want to work on the particular area, you just refer more papers on that area. Definitely, you'll get the idea which network you can choose. Any other questions?
Yes, any queries from the participants? Sir, there is
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, how the regression model gives the more accuracy compared to other model in machine learning? Hello.
How the, yeah, I can hear you, ma'am. How the regression model?
Yes, gives the more accuracy compared to other models in machine learning.
We cannot come to the conclusion that regression model are giving perfect results compared to the other models. That is based on the data, and that is based on the problem what you are taken. If you are changing the problem, the complete hypothesis, whatever you said, may differ. So the statement what you said is may be applicable only to that certain amount of certain type of data and then certain type of application. Not true for all.
Always the regression is not good, no, sir?
No, regression is, no, it's not like that. That's no, regression is, regression means we are fitting the line. We are trying to understand the data pattern. We are going to predicting something based on the previous data. Say for example, stock market. Okay, here the problem. I'll say that why the regression model, why we cannot compare this thing. When you are classifying something, you the same stock market you are taking. So you are two persons are there. Say for example, Kalpana and Saha. Kalpana is interested in to finding that tomorrow what may be the exactly stock value. Kalpana is interested. Saha is interested in whether the stock market will go down or will go. Saha is interested in it. The first one is, as you know, that first one is a regression problem. Second one is the classification problem. In the classification problem, what Saha is interested in, model. The model is giving the answer final result as 70-30. It means that 70% it's saying that it may improve. The stock market will go up. 30% chance to stock market to go down. This is a thing. See that make a note. 70-30 I'm saying. So this is based on the high probability classification is deciding that 70 is the highest number. So I am going to the first. In the earlier model, you want the exact position 60. Suppose tomorrow the exact output what I'm going to get is 60 rupees or something. Okay. the 600 rupees you want to predict. That time system definitely will fail to identify the 60. System definitely will give a something like a 560 or 570, 580 like that. So the variance is deciding here in that regression model. The variance is deciding the performance. In the classification model, probability is deciding the performance. So two things are completely different. So if we compare that, we cannot say that regression will work perfect. We can say that this will work perfect. So
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Any other question, participants, or?
Yes, next Kalpana Shah is there.
She only asked, I think, sir. Now
You
I
only
think I
asked,
answered.
okay.
Yes.
Gopakumar.
He said that no
No
questions.
queries,
He
but
messaged, yeah.
he raised the hand. Okay, sir,
Yeah.
that's it.
Sir, it was actually accidentally
Okay.
clicked
Okay,
on.
fine, fine.
Okay, that's it, sir. No queries.
Okay, sir. Then thank you. Then tomorrow I'll meet you people. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Sir. Tomorrow also, sir, session is there. Instead of 2:30, it will start at 4 o'clock. I think I already given in the schedule. Tomorrow, third session will start 4 to 5. Remaining two sessions will start as per time, as per schedule. First 10 to 11:30. Second one is 12 to 1:30. Third session 4 to 5. Things are is not available in the regular schedule. So
Yeah, sorry,
just,
actually. Sorry.
no problem,
Yeah.
sir. No,
Yeah.
we just shifted. You have to remember. Participants have to remember. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you all.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
It's
Thank
a
you.
very nice session, sir, and interactive. I think all the participants are actively
Thank you.
interacted in the session.
Yes. Thank you. I'm also really happy about it. Tomorrow also I'm expecting the same active participation from the
Yes,
participants.
sir.
Thank you all.
Sure, sir.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you. Sir, please share your PPTs.
Yes. Now itself I'll share. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you all, guys. If anybody not fill the attendance form, please fill it. I'm repeating. I will not share this attendance link in the Google this group. People are asking me to share the attendance form in the group. If I share it, everybody will fill it. Even people not attending people also will fill it. So I will not share it in the WhatsApp group. I will share in the chat box only. Okay, please remember, don't ask me to share in the WhatsApp group. Okay, if anybody missed, you can fill here only. I will give a time. If you ask here, I will repeatedly paste that link until up to half an hour also, half an hour more time also. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Tomorrow will you join in this link or other link?
I think most probably same link, madam. If link is changed, I will mail to you.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Please send me the link.
Yeah. I remember your mail ID. I will
Okay,
mail
sir.
to you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you
May I
all.
leave the meeting?